Hello! Let's butcher a chicken. This is how you do it and save yourself an absolute fortune and learn how to do all the cuts. And the most important thing is make sure your knife is unbelievably sharp. Do not mess around. Do not use a blunt knife. You need your fingers. You need them. Okay? Bye. Okay, let's butcher a chicken, shall we? Portion it up into pieces because it's well worth knowing and saves you an absolute fortune. And as you progress down the line of learning how to do stuff like this, you get better and more able to do things like spatchcock and jibble jab. There's no such thing. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is take off the wings. So go under the armpits. You're looking for a joint in between every joint, and you'll have noticed this in my wings video, hot wings. In between every knuckle, there's like your knife just goes straight through if you find the spot in between the knuckle. And that's what you're doing here. Underneath the armpit, making a little groove, looking for the knuckle, and going straight through in between the two joints. So if you think about it, if you were to dislocate that, the joint would pop out, and you're looking for that in between. Okay, if you go straight through there, it goes straight through. Then we need to take off the thighs, so cut through the attaching skin. There you go, both sides, cut through it, and fold it back. You'll see now, so you basically fold back the leg and dislocate the entire joint in one gruesome click, which I've not put the sound up. And get your knife and run it as close to the back as possible, because you can then take out the oyster, the chicken oyster, which is one of the most tender bits of chicken. It would be considered as the love handles, but we don't do that to chickens, do we? So, yeah. So that's what it is anyway. On a human, it would be love handles, okay? So on the other side, do exactly the same. Take out the oyster, the soft bit of flesh there, run the knife as close to the central spine as possible, and go through that joint, as we've said before, in between the two bones, the two knuckles of bone. There's a joint, and there we go. There is our second thigh off your pop. Put it aside. Now we have left to remove two breasts from the main carcass. So cut through the attaching tissue beneath the breasts, break the back in half, and cut your knife straight through that and put that straight into your stock pot bag. That is stock. There's nothing left on there. You want to be cooking and eating this stock. Okay, and then we have our breasts. So we have the sort of heart, the top of the heart shape facing upwards, and in between the two breasts is a breastplate bone thing that runs all the way down the middle. So at the moment I'm removing the breast from the left side, so I'm looking for the left-hand side of the central bone. Run your knife in, really sharp knife, in nice single long smooth actions to try and get as much breast meat away in a single slide of the knife. Okay, and at the top of there's a little bone at the top there you need to go round. Okay, and then just basically just work the knife through along the breastplate so that there's nothing left but a very tiny bit of meat, and the breast just comes away. And what you'll find when the breast comes away is you got the flippy flappy bits of what they're called tenders, which we'll show you to take away in a short while. So we've got the flippy flappy tender, that's the breast that as you know it, and the bit there flapping about is the tender. So we'll take them off in a short while, so pop that aside. Yes, Steve, we can see it. Pop it aside and do the same to the other one. What I do this way is I flip it round and push away with the blade. I find it much easier to get a grip of the whole breast. Push it away again. We're working away from that central bone that runs straight down the middle of the two breasts. So pushing away with the knife. Looking again to make, as soon as we can get a bit of purchase, get some nice clean lines with the knife, running along the breastplate as close as possible. So there we go, just sliding it away. There we go around the wishbone at the bottom there, and straight through, and it should all start to just cleave away. Is that the word? Is that the right word? Cleave away? Pull away. There we go. Just one final slice now, and that should be the whole lot. Almost, there we go. So that's all coming away now. Take away any bits of muck you don't really want, don't want to see. There we go. And you put that carcass. There we go. So we got those 2 bits of carcass. Put that in your carcass bag, and you can freeze that and make stock out of it. Superb chicken stock. So now we have 2 legs with thighs attached, 2 wings with the tips attached, and 2 breasts with the tenders attached. So what we need to do is break these down. So take the tips off the wings, as I've done in my other videos. Flip it over so it's the underneath facing up. It's much easier to find. Look for the joint, and the knife just glides straight through. You're looking for the bit in between the the bit of cartilage in between the 2 knuckle joints, and it just goes straight through. Look at that. Barely needed a sharp knife for that, but please keep sharpening your knife. Do not use a blunt knife. I have seen some terrible things. I've seen some horrors. So, and then on the wings, you're looking to separate these from the drumettes and the flats. So that's, again, just look for the knuckle right between the 2. Go underneath, much easier to see what's going on, and go straight through that gap. There you go. Now you have 2 flats and 2 drumettes. They are unbelievably delicious when you're having the wings. Now you're going to separate the drumstick from the thigh. Again, in between those 2 joints there's a knuckle, and in between that knuckle is a cartilage. You want to go straight through that with the knife. So there's your thigh with the oyster attached at the bottom, and your drummer. Same with this one. Turn it upside down. Look for the gap in between the 2 joints, and run your knife straight through it, and it goes through easy peasy. There we go. There we go. Easy. So now we've got 2 drummers, 2 thighs. And now we're going to take the tenders off the breasts. You have to use your, what would you say? I wouldn't say intelligence, but just use your, how you want it to look, kind of aesthetic mind, I would say. Just, you want to look to shape the breast so it looks as appetizing as possible, and just take the tender off and pop that aside. The tender makes amazing like stir fry, because you'd be chopping up anyway. So you've got a nice clean breast there. Tiny bit of sinew at the top. I'm going to chop that off. There's absolutely no point in keeping it on at this point, because you'd only have to take it off after, or if you dish it up with someone, they're going to have a bit of sinew in the mouth, which is just unbelievably unpleasant for anyone involved. So take that off and chuck it in the bin. You can put it in the stock pot if you want. Stock bag rather. So there's your breast. Nice breast. And your tender. And you're going to do that with the other breast now. Cut any garbage off, any veins, any sinew, any stuff you don't want to see or eat or have in your mouth. And then you just take the tender off. And there we go. Pretty much job done there, pal. Get that bit of skin off the top. So we got now 2 breasts, 2 tenders. Just tidy that up. There's that remaining bit of tender there. Get that off. Now that breast is going to look well tidy. Look at that. Still got the skin on if you use it. I tend to just cut mine up. So let's see what we've got. 2 breasts now. 2 breasts. 2 lovely thighs with the oyster attached. 1 thigh and 2 thighs. 2 drummers. 2 drumettes from the wings. 2 flats from the wings. And the tenders, you can separate all those into different frozen bags and put them in the freezer. Then we've got our bit of carcass to make stock out of. That's got the wing tips in, and you are done, pal. Look at that. Impressed with your own work. Good luck with that. I hope it goes well. Please don't cut off your fingers, and wash your hands. Bye.